So let's talk about 8 things that are missing from the new Toyota Tacoma, the 2024 Toyota Tacoma, that I really don't care about, that I don't miss. You know, there's been a lot of comments on the channel. Everybody's dogging what the new Tacoma doesn't have, completely overlooking what it does have. So let's address those things. Number 1, electric seats. You know, electric seats, I never could get comfortable in them from the beginning. When I had them on the other truck, I had to put seat jackers in to be able to raise the front part of that seat up because it was always too low. I got no under thigh support. I don't have that problem with these manual seats. They're more comfortable, then there's less to go wrong, right? Everybody always complains about how there's so much technology and electrical stuff in the Tacoma, but yet when they take something away and simplify it, everybody complains about it, right? I don't miss them at all. I set the seat where I want it, and that's it. Of course, I understand if you have a lot of different people in and out of your truck, maybe it would be nice to be able to push a button as opposed to pull a lever, but I don't miss it. Number 2, no rear slider. That's right, there is no standard rear slider in the back of this truck, and it is a TRD Sport, right? Used to be a standard feature. Now, it's not to say that you can't get one if you want one, but you're going to pay more money for it, right? I don't miss that at all. You know, there's no chance of leaks, something that folks have complained about with that slider. It's more secure, not very difficult to pop that slider open, and if you're of smaller stature, you could have crawled in the back of the Tacoma before, and I never used it, ever. You know, it's always funny to me, some people say, well, I used to use that because I would buy long boards and I would stick them through there inside the truck. What? I would never have done that. I'm too particular. You know, I'd be afraid about the wood, first of all, dropping shavings inside the truck, I know. And also about it scratching up or marring the surface that it's sitting in, the surface of the window, the track area. I wouldn't have wanted that. And what happens if it starts raining? Now you've got a 12-foot long, I'm exaggerating, piece of wood stuck through your open window. You can't close it. I don't miss that at all. Not a big deal for me. Number 3, no sunroof. That's right, it has no sunroof. If I'm not mistaken, the Sport used to come standard with a sunroof up here on the top. You can see there is no sunroof up there, just a flat roof. Now, the reasons I don't miss it, same as the rear slider. I don't have to worry about leaks. It's more secure. Nobody's going to pop that roof and climb down in the cab. I mean, everybody's worried about theft, right? And I never used, I shouldn't say that. It's not that I never used it. Every once in a great while, I would stick my camera up there to make videos, right? Now, if you don't make videos or you're not a YouTuber, probably never use it for that, right? So it held no meaning for me. I don't miss it at all. Number 4, no crawl control. Well, crawl control, I used crawl control one time. And that's when I went to the dealership and he wanted me to experience it. So out in the parking lot, on the pavement where you're not supposed to do it, we put the crawl control on and I got to experience what it felt like. Now, if you're a big time off-roader, I suppose if you're traveling around in areas that you probably really shouldn't be in, it might come in handy. Or if you're at the beach and you want to show it off in the sand, maybe it shows a purpose for you. I don't know. I never used it, and by not having it, there's less electronic stuff, less to go wrong, and even a reduction in weight. I mean, every component you add to the truck is going to add more weight to it. Not to mention the wear and tear that utilizing that system probably puts on the four-wheel drive system. Number 5. No under rear seat storage lids. That's right, if you weren't aware, underneath the rear seats, let's take a look. And by the way, I don't mind these little seat tie down things. They kind of hold the seat up, plug in right here. People seem to have a big issue with those. They don't bother me. We had nothing before. But you'll see there is no cover, no lid. Now, is that really a big deal? You know, if I'm being honest, when I first saw that, I kind of thought there was. I thought, that's a problem, right? I don't like that. I'm gonna do something. Well, I've since changed my mind. It is way more accessible without having a lid back there to have to screw with. And I never liked the way it worked anyway. You had to turn that plastic thing. I never could remember if I had it locked or unlocked or whatever. Then you had to deal with the lid while you were trying to get stuff out. I mean, it was just in the way. Way more accessible without having that lid. And they weren't that secure anyway. I mean, if you think they were on there to provide some sort of security, I don't know how. They didn't lock. They were just a flimsy plastic. Even if you put some kind of a lock in that turning device, I could have popped that thing off with my bare hands. No issue. Number 6, no bed cubby. That's right, we've got no bed cubby in here. You can see where there used to be one there, and that was actually the more useful one. It was bigger. And the one over here, much smaller, but it's gone. No more bed cubby back there. Did I ever keep anything in there? No, I really didn't. Why? Because it wasn't waterproof. Anything I kept in there got wet. Gloves, tie downs, whatever. Speaking of tie downs, you know when they get wet, they'll rot. Ever grab a tie down and hook it on something like one of these tie downs here? Pull on it, it snaps and breaks and comes back and smacks you. You know, the last thing you want to happen is to have your tie down rot and have that happen to you. Lastly, they're not secure. You can put a lock on them. I did a mod like that on my, I think it was my 2020. I popped the little clip thing it had, or little arm shutter, whatever you call it, closer, and I put a lock on it. I found it was more of a pain in the arse because it would never fail. When I wanted to open it for some reason, I wouldn't have the key on me. And it's still not secure. It's just a cheap old plastic door, right? Very, very easy to pop that off if you really want to. Number 7, no bed plug. You'll notice there is no plug back here, right where it used to be next to that little cubby. Not a problem for me, once again, because I never used it. I think I used it one time for a video. I think I plugged a hairdryer into it just to show or see whether or not it would power a hairdryer. But I never used it for anything, and I don't need to dry my hair, you see. Now, this is one of those things where I understand if you're an avid off-roader or a camper, maybe you use that to power a cooktop kind of thing, or maybe a cooler, something like that. Yeah, I could see that. But even if I was to use it for something like that, I'd be afraid to use it without the truck running, burning gas, because I'd be afraid of running the battery down. I wonder how many times that's happened to somebody out there who's plugged something into that, left the battery on, or didn't turn the truck on, I should say, and actually ran the battery down. Something I don't need. Lastly, number 8, no hand brake. I've heard a lot of complaints about this. In case you didn't know, the brake inside the truck now is electronic. I like that. It self-engages. When I shut the truck off, I'm in park, it grabs to hold the truck where you're supposed to be. I never had to have to grab that handle and crank it up, hoping I'm not feeling too strong that day and break it. And I've heard of people doing that. I like what I've got right now. It holds when I'm parked, it's not in my way, and I don't have to screw with it. Now, if you're a drifter, you ever see those drift videos? They've got those brakes and they're grabbing on and they're drifting around corner. How many of us do that with a Toyota Tacoma? I don't really see any other good purpose for it myself. I don't miss it at all. Anyway, those are just 8 things that the new Tacoma does not have that I don't care about. There are a few others. I might cover those in a future video. Leave a comment, let me know. Any of these things bother you? You wouldn't buy this truck because they don't have those things? I'd just be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.